Secret of the Mimic is Steelwool Studios' final chance to save Five Nights at Freddy's, because at the end of the day, what's the best kind of game? A fun one. So Secret of the Mimic has a lot riding on it, in my opinion. It is pretty much the determining factor between whether Five Nights at Freddy's dies, or whether it stays relevant for like another year plus, maybe. Who knows, if it's that good, maybe it'll introduce a whole new generation of horror fans back into Five Nights at Freddy's. I doubt it. I don't think so. But you never know. Now, when Steelwool Studios first started working on Five Nights at Freddy's back in, like, what was this, 2017, 18, something like that, they made Help Wanted, which was a VR game, and some of you may not know this, but VR is their bread and butter. That is what they are good at. If you look at their website, it's pretty much exclusively VR, like, almost exclusively. Okay. And he's dead. So VR is kind of like what Steelwool Studios is good at, right? That's their thing. That's like asking the Call of Duty devs to make a Call of Duty game, right? That's their thing. You know, it may be more and more greedy and optimized every single year, but that's their thing, right? They're good at that. And that's the same for Steelwool Studios in VR games. The fact that Help Wanted was good, I'd argue great, is not really a surprise. Like in hindsight, we should have expected it to be, and it was. It was a great game. Now we move on to Security Breach after a quick detour on Help Wanted DLC. And Security Breach was, Now, I'm not saying it was a bad game, it wasn't. I think it's good. I think it's a good game. I still do. It's just that, bugs, man, those stupid bugs killed it. Like, so hard. Now, the reason the bugs are such a big deal, aside from the fact that they are bugs, is actually because there's a crap ton of cut content in this game. A lot of it. And I mean, like, arguably there's, like, just as much cut content as there is actual content. I'm not kidding. I don't know all the details for sure. But if you've looked at all the stuff just kind of lying around this game, you can see that something is, you know, drastically wrong. Like, there's level 10 security doors you can't even get into. There's, oh, what else is there? There's, like, whole rooms you can't access. There's whole, you know, like, all the endings aren't even, like, cutscenes. They're, like, these weird comic things. That alone is kind of weird. And a lot of that stuff is probably what caused huge file size bloat and bugs. Was just the fact that there's so much cut content. Like, upwards of half the game is probably cut content. We're dealing with a Halo 2 situation here, people. Now, on top of that, the game itself is relatively large for the dev time that they had to make it. We're talking a 2-year development cycle. I don't know about development cycle, but between Help Wanted 1 and Security Breach, it took 2 years, right? So with that in mind, for a game that is essentially like Metroidvania exploration, let's just say they weren't exactly set up to succeed. I mean, they could have succeeded if it took longer than a couple of years to make the dang game. And I did talk about this last time, but I kind of wanted to avoid that in this video. Is that the story is not any clearer than it was before. In fact, it's more confusing. You know, it's 5 Nights at Freddy's stuff. But I talked about that in a separate video, so I'm going to ignore that for the time being. Oh, what the crap are you doing? Get away from me, you freak. How dare you? I am not a rule breaker. I'm a rule maker. Alright, I set the rules around here. Freaking nerd. Freddy, help! I'm gonna get violated by a chicken. Help me! Everyone's after me, Freddy. They're all after me. Help me. I didn't do anything wrong. Now, we can all agree that the ideas of this game are fine. Oops. That might just be instant death. Yep, okay. I didn't mean to press E. I was spamming E on the gate like an idiot. I didn't mean to do that. Security Breach is a good game on the surface. But when you go a little lower, it's more of like a collection of ideas that they wanted to do. And it got, like, skedaddled off pretty hard by the fact that a lot of the content is gone. It feels like kind of just versions of what they thought they wanted to do, but also not really. All kinds of stuff is just crazy. And now because of all that, bloated file size and bugs, as I previously said. But the thing about Steelwool Studios is that they're not a bad studio. Let me make that abundantly clear. Steelwool Studios is a good studio. You could tell they love Five Nights at Freddy's. They care about it. Now, how do I know that they really care about Five Nights at Freddy's? Well, there's a few kind of things you can see as a consumer with your eyes. You can see with your eyes. Who the crap is you? Every furry's dream over here. What the crap? Who the crap is you, bro? Like, if you look at the Help Wanted 1 release, they made a DLC. Okay, cool. Pretty standard. Move on to Security Breach. $40 price tag at launch. Okay. For how big the game is, it's fine. I mean, it would have been better if all the content was complete, but oh well. Things happen. Now, the Ruin DLC could have easily cost money. Easily. I would have gladly paid money for the Ruin DLC. Gladly. More than gladly. More than gladly. I would have paid money for the Ruin DLC. It was fantastic. I can't wait to replay it because I've forgotten a lot about it. I just remember it was good. Oh, time to get moving. I just remember that the DLC was good. I would have gladly paid $10 for it. Easy. No question. But guess what? It was free. They made that crap for free. Why? Like, honestly, the real question is why? Like, obviously they had the money to do it. I know Security Breach sold well. But why? Like, the Ruin DLC was borderline its own small game, and it was free DLC. That's kind of crazy. They could have so easily charged for that. Then they made Help Wanted 2, another $30 game. Whatever, right? They pretty much just released games, no microtransactions, extremely fair DLC. Actually, if anything, generous DLC, bro. Their DLC is generous. So I know they're not a bad company. They like Five Nights at Freddy's, but because they were a VR company, they're really struggling on this style of game right here on your screen. They are really struggling on that front. They got overambitious, because you can do more with an actual game than a VR game, right? There's way more opportunity, way more chance to do things. Although, ironically, I think Security Breach would have done better as a VR game. Because, you know, like I said, the Security Breach itself's fine. Metroidvania mechanics in a giant Freddy Fazbear's Super Mall is essentially what this game is. And it's big, but not so big that, like, it's, you know, too much. I would argue it's not too much. It's just that a lot of it is covered in cut content. Like, there's a door back there that's just cut content. Over there, towards that area that I'm pointing at. In the back corner. I'm sure there's a few more doors just kind of lying around that's just cut content. But, like, the ability to ride inside Freddy and use him as a vehicle? That's a great idea. Heck, the idea of a friendly animatronic at all helping you. My homeboy, I pressed Q. Where'd he go? Oh, he's probably taking the long way around. Oh, there he is. Like, the idea of a friendly animatronic helping you at all is awesome. All the different animatronic adversaries. Yo, Freddy. Freddy giving the... Yo. Yo, Freddy. Like, the closest thing we ever had to an animatronic helping you is Circus Baby in Sister Location. So the idea that you have an animatronic ally at all is an awesome idea. It's a fun idea, really. It's just fun more than anything. Oh, frick. How did I not get detected? Did I get detected? How did that guy not get me? Well, these security bots are slacking. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna keep it real with you all. These security bots need to get fired. Bro, I ran right in front of one and it didn't see me. Other times you like barely touch a pixel of their flashlight and they immediately get you. Like even this sequence right here, right? It's a great idea. The fact that even the vents aren't safe. That's a great idea. These are all good ideas. Now, as far as Secret of the Mimic is concerned, I'm not gonna lie to you all, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be an extremely close battle with Secret of the Mimic, because the development pipeline is not really much bigger than this game. 2 years between releases, right? That kind of thing. Go! Goodness. Had this problem last time. Just freaking move, Gregory. Gregory, move! All Secret of the Mimic really needs to do is take a direction and stick with it. Because Security Breach tried multiple endings. It tried Metroidvania-style exploration, dual views with animatronic and, you know, player character. It tried all kinds of stuff, man. I'm probably just going to stop right here. It tried all kinds of stuff, and it was all great ideas. It could have been amazing, but it was just too much. It was just too much. So, Secret of the Mimic has to, and I'm going to go and get to the office. It absolutely must fix these issues. I'm also very strongly assuming that Secret of the Mimic will not be nearly as buggy as this game is. Because, let's be real, if Secret of the Mimic's even as close to as buggy as Security Breach still is now to this day, Steel Wool's done. They're cooked. That's it. They are no longer the right people to be handling Five Nights at Freddy's. Where'd she go? I can't hear, so I'm kind of just like guessing. Oh, she's behind me. Okay. Can you freaking not? Stupid fat chicken sitting there eating pizza all day. So I'm very strongly assuming the Secret of the Mimic, Steel Wool is just going to learn their lesson and actually fix the bugs. If they don't, I might reconsider them being an actually good company, because the only reason you would launch a game buggy is if you just want the money faster. That's it. That's the only reason. If you just want the money faster. So if Secret of the Mimic doesn't fix these issues, I predict a strong decline in Five Nights at Freddy's interest, because now the only companies we'll have to rely on are people like Mega Cat Studios, who made the Into the Pit tie-in game, which showed up out of nowhere on my radar. I didn't even know who Mega Cat was. I didn't know they had the rights. I don't know. It was kind of just a whole thing. But anyways, that's my kind of ramble on what Secret of the Mimic needs to do to survive, and that the gameplay itself is still very important. Yeah, the story is kind of all over the place or whatever, but Into the Pit, I didn't really need to understand what was going on to enjoy myself. I would say the same thing about Security Breach, but the ending kind of was just like, what the crap is going on here? There's a lot of situations where Security Breach was kind of like, what? But anyways, those are my thoughts. How about you? I will be covering Secret of the Mimic. Subscribe for all that. Comment what you're thinking on Security Breach or any of Steel Wool's games, really. I have faith that they'll do better. But if Secret of the Mimic isn't better, well, bye-bye Five Nights at Freddy's, to be honest. Time to go back to the fan games. I don't know. Alright. Have a good day or night. Yeet.